I'm Abby.
I'm Lee.
And you could be our Miller. At the bottom of the pyramid, the 30 Years' War. This started the Holy Roman Empire because of religious conflicts and the Protestants and Catholics. Many European powers got involved, including Austria, Spain, France, and Sweden. Over time, it became more public power than religion. That is why 30 Years' War at the bottom of the pyramid. Next on the pyramid, the French Revolution. The French Revolution made people very angry because they're heavy on taxes and wanted equality between the social classes. The third estate was against the monarchy and demanded the rights. King Louis XIV was overthrown and executed. France became a republic and ended the absolute monarchy. The revolution led to violence, including the Reign of Terror, where thousands were executed.
And next at the bottom, we have the Enlightenment. This was an intellectual movement that went throughout Europe that challenged the traditional ways of thinking. They challenged the monarchies and the church. Some influential people were John Locke and Voltaire. They wanted to improve education and rational thinking and the reform. And lastly, we have the French Religious Wars. These took place between 1562 and 1598. This was a series of civil wars between Catholics and Protestant Huguenots. Some important days include the St. Bartholomew's Day Massacre in 1572. The way this ended was when Henry IV issued the Edict of Nantes, granting limited religious freedom to Protestants and bringing stability to France. This concludes the bottom of the pyramid.
On the bottom of the third level, we have the Middle Ages. This was post-Roman European era characterized by the rise of feudalism, the central power of the Christian church, frequently invasion and major events like the Crusades and Black Death, bridging antiquity and modern war. Now passing it to my partner.
On the middle of the third row, we have the English Golden Age. The English Golden Age was also called the Elizabeth era. It was a time in the late 1500s when England grew strong and successful under Queen Elizabeth's power. The country experienced peace, naval victories, and major growth in arts, especially literature and theater.
Now the last one of the second pyramid. The Italian Renaissance was when artists such as Da Vinci, Michelangelo, not the Ninja Turtle, and thinkers such as patrons and writers had an upbringing in their community. When classical learning such as humanism and art went highly up in popularity, and their musical lifestyles also grew as well. And around the 1350s and 600s was the peak activity of it, and it began in Tuscany and centrally Florence and spread all across Italy and Europe.
Now we will come to our second pyramid.
Get it, partner?
Now, for our second period, we have the Dutch Revolution. We love this one, and the Dutch Revolution was also called the Dutch Revolt. It was a long struggle in the late 1500s when the Dutch fought for independence and from Spanish rule. Heavy taxes, religious persecution, and desire for self-rule led through the northern and provinces label, eventually forming the independence of the Dutch Republic.
And next on the second level, we have the Scientific Revolution. The Scientific Revolution took place between 1500s and 1700s. This was a period when European thinkers began using observation, experiments, and mathematics to understand the natural world instead of relying on tradition or church teachings. Scientists like Copernicus, Galileo, and Newton made discoveries that changed views of the universe and established foundations for modern science.
We apologize for the change of scenery.
We had some technical difficulties.
So we changed our background.
Now let's get started. At the top of the pyramid,
We have the English Reformation. It was a 16th century movement in which England broke away from the Catholic Church.
it began under King Henry VIII in 1534, when he made himself head church of the England.
after the Pope refused to annul his marriage. The break was driven by political control, personal motives, economy gain, and Protestant ideas.
Over time, religious policies changed under different monarchs, and the Reformation was finally stabilized as a Protestant church under Elizabeth I.
We are Abby, Lee, and you're Millers.